Media Network. Now introducing your hosts, Jay Johnson's Cowboy Cody Slovinsky, Vandy Chris Keenhold, and Mr. Cheesy himself, Randy Jowers. Let's start the show, boys!
Welcome in. This is the Golden Broom Podcast. I am joined by Vandy Chris himself, and we have a pretty good show lined up for you tonight. We will talk about the current rankings. We will talk about some RPI because we're at that point of the season where we can talk about that finally. We are going to talk about teams that we expect to break out. We talk about Texas A&M's triumph over the weekend of finally turning the page and getting it going. Talk about Tennessee finally coming back to reality. It was the quietest I have seen Tennessee fans on Twitter in a year. So, Chris, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling like some gator meat. Yeah, well, I'm actually pretty positive that, knowing that Kevin Sullivan, the way he's treated Vanderbilt in Gainesville,
mm-hmm.
and that we went down there and for the first time in school history got a sweep. That's huge.
No, it is.
That's huge.
It really is. And, with the way that Florida's been this year, they obviously have been down. But just because of what their record's showing in conference play does not mean they're not a game team. They are a legitimate team. They just had some bad luck. And hopefully for them, they've gotten the toughest part of their schedule out of the way and they can move forward and bounce back. But, man, Vanderbilt didn't do them any favors.
No, not at all.
But, hey, that's a good thing.
They finished putting the fork in them because it's sitting at 1-11 right now. Chances are you're not getting in the postseason.
Oh, no, not at all. Realistically, Florida, if they lose 6 more conference games, they're beyond on the fringe.
Right.
So, this weekend will put us halfway through conference play. At this point, you want at minimum 7 wins in conference to feel even a little bit comfortable about yourself. Because if you don't have at least 7 wins after the halfway point, you've got a big, big, big hill to climb.
Yeah.
And
some of that depends on the schedule too.
Sure, absolutely. And some of these teams, they have their easiest stretch coming up. So a team like Texas, they're about to actually hit pretty much a gravy train. They have don't get me wrong, they still have some challenging series left, but as a whole, I would love to have the schedule that Texas has to close out versus what my team has or your team has or someone like that. It just doesn't get any easier. But we learned a lot over the weekend. We really did. That being said, and I don't care what anybody says, I am not sold on Arkansas yet. I'm not.
I'm not sold on them, but that's a really good baseball team right there.
Oh, 100% agreed. We'll not take anything away from them. I think they're great. The problem is, look who they've beaten. Okay?
What are you trying to say?
Did they sweep you?
Swept us.
Okay.
In our house.
Okay. So that is their crowning glory.
Their first series win over us since 2017.
Okay. My thing is this with Arkansas. And again, I'm not taking anything away from them because I think they are a very talented team. I think they have a good future ahead of them this season, and they will be dangerous when it matters the most. But I feel like, personally, because I did watch some of the series with Vanderbilt, and I think that Arkansas is a team that they've kind of benefited because I feel like Vandy was not at their best when they played them by any means. And that's not to take away from the sweep. You got a sweep on the road against a very game team, so awesome. I don't know. There's just something about this Arkansas team that I don't trust.
obviously Dave Van Horn's that reason, but
Sure.
I mean, look what they did to Ole Miss. Ole
Yeah.
Miss ain't no cakewalk.
Yeah. It was
I
a
mean,
tight series.
but was it?
Yeah. I mean, Ole Miss won the first game. They could have won the second game. Then the third game was Arkansas. Or it was second game Arkansas and third game tight. But either way,
I'm
it
pretty
was.
sure Arkansas put up double-digit run multiple times.
Yeah. It was a very high scoring series. But I don't know. I am one of the ones that I'm gonna have doubt in certain teams until I'm proven differently. And luckily my team plays Arkansas, so awesome. Well, I will learn a lot more then. Which, speaking of LSU right now, we're currently trailing Nichols 3-0 in the seventh inning. It's been one of the weirdest midweek games I've ever watched. I mean, it's just, and it's not that LSU is not playing good baseball. It's just that it's that one midweek game that you should never lose. It's just weird. It is. It's so
That LSU does every year.
yeah. But hey, the last couple times that Nichols has beat us, we went to the national championship. So go ahead and get it out of the way. But no, there was a rain delay when we were supposed to play them earlier in the year. So then we agreed to do like a home and home kind of thing to make up the game. And so we're at Nichols tonight, which it's weird because it looks like you're playing on a high school field. It really does. But it's all good. Oh, can you upload those photos of the streak games today when you have a second?
I mean, which ones do you want?
You can just
the
put all
most
of them.
important one?
You can put all three of them. Kind of tell the backstory and then tell the two things that happen. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna pull up the current top 25 right here. As you see, Arkansas is consensus number 1, Texas at number 2, LSU's at 3 in D1, Clemson's 3 in perfect game, and then they flip with each other in the polls. Tennessee consensus at 5. D1 has Ole Miss at 6, and then perfect game has them at 8. I mean, the rankings are just however you want to make it. I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter too much. I mean, D1, Vandy's 17, perfect game, Vandy's 21. After what Vandy did over the weekend and what they've been doing as of late, I feel like they should be a little bit better than that, considering you see Western Kentucky pop in the rankings. In that case, Vanderbilt beat Western Kentucky last week, which honestly, on paper, in every aspect, looks like a fantastic win because it was. I like seeing Troy right there in the top 20 in both polls. UCI is just... they're a very good ball club. They gave Oregon State some fits over the weekend, but man, I look forward to seeing what they can do in the postseason. But yeah, that's your rankings right here. Nothing too crazy. That's really a difference. Kansas consensus top 25 finally after a bunch of wins. They had to really work their way into the top 25 in all the polls though, because their RPI, like the teams they play per se, is just not. It doesn't benefit them a lot. But hey, there you go. At least South Carolina ain't Florida.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so nice to see a Twitter comment, by the way, pop up because those never come through. So that makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, of these teams on here, I mean, is there anyone that sticks out that you think maybe does not deserve to be ranked currently?
I don't know that I'm sold on Kansas.
Really? The Lord of the Underdogs is not sold on America's team.
I'm just not sold on Kansas.
I mean, nobody's really beating them right now. They've won 9 straight. Swept Oklahoma State. Swept UCF on the road.
Oklahoma State's 15-18.
Sure.
It's not a good baseball team.
No, it's not.
So you bring up, well, I say I'm not sold on Kansas. Currently, they're 9-3 in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
They still got TCU, Arizona, Kansas State to go through. I'm just not sold on them.
Hey, well, the good thing is they have
They're
time
losing.
to earn
They're
it.
losing, and they're losing to Nebraska right now,
What's the score in that one right now?
6-4.
Okay. It was 4-4 a few minutes ago. It's not too bad, though. Time to bounce back. It's midweeks. Midweeks don't matter.
They're at TCU this weekend.
That's going to be a good series.
The following week, they host Kansas State. And then they still got Cincinnati to go through and West Virginia to go through. They've had a really easy schedule.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
So I'm just not sold on them.
I feel about Kansas the way you feel about Penn State.
Fair.
And they have a better RPI than Penn State. And they have a loss to Omaha.
I mean, I know somebody else has got a loss to Omaha too.
A lot of teams at this point. A lot of teams that should not have a loss to Omaha has a loss to Omaha, which is crazy. All right, let's look at the RPI while we're talking about it. This is where it gets a little interesting. So, a team that you see in the top 25, Western Kentucky, you got them at 49 currently. That's solid for them, considering what their schedule looks like this year. Had they beat Vanderbilt, then their RPI would definitely be a lot better. You got your teams like Liberty, who has been just dangerous all year. You got Southern Miss. Southern Miss is a team that I question, Chris. And the reason I do that is because they're obviously their biggest games they play are midweek games. In terms of like RPI wise, they play the Mississippi schools, they play Alabama, I believe they played Auburn as well, maybe. But they play a lot of those midweek like big matchups, which hey, props to them for scheduling it. But
so, just a heads up.
Mm-hmm.
According to the live RPI,
Sure,
Western Kentucky's up to 46.
Okay.
They're up three spots today.
Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me.
45.
Okay, and that doesn't surprise me because these are going to shift a lot. Obviously, this was from yesterday, so yeah, a lot can change. But the main ones at the top are pretty much about the same. You got Arkansas 1, Clemson 2, Georgia 3, Texas 4, Tennessee 5, LSU 6, Ole Miss 7, Vanderbilt 8, Alabama 9, Georgia Tech 10. So, I mean, yeah. So, well, I mean, but let's be fair. I mean, Vanderbilt might be a team that we question, but their schedule has not been a cake by any means whatsoever. So, I mean, they're expected to have some losses.
I actually think their schedule is ranked number 1.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me. That being said, where is
we have the most Q1 wins in the country other than Clemson and Georgia Tech.
But you also have the most Q1 losses in the top 10, right? Or at least tied for the most Q1 losses. But that's not a bad thing.
In the top 10?
Yeah.
We're not in the top 10.
What? You're number 8 right there.
In RPI.
That's what I mean. I'm talking about top 10 RPI.
I mean, we're 10-6. You got Clemson's 10-4.
What about Kansas? Look at their RPI, like their Q1s and all that. I want to know where they're at.
1-3.
Okay. I mean, number 14 RPI is very solid for Kansas, though.
Coastal has got a 2-5 record against Q1 teams.
What's Tennessee's record?
Tennessee is 7-1.
And what about LSU?
LSU 7-2.
Okay. 2 losses to Texas. That makes sense. I mean, some of these teams that are up here too, like,
Oklahoma's 4-7.
Yeah, of course. Which I mean, obviously, I mean they were 4-4 before the weekend. I mean that I mean that is what it is on them. Which, by the way, Oklahoma. I mean, I kind of feel bad for them because let me tell you, they are a very good team. They really are. Their pitching is solid. Their bats are solid. The problem is this weekend it was very cold weather conditions. I mean, it was freezing. Like everybody in the crowd literally had blankets on. Like it was just I don't know, it's just a very just strange situation. And the fan, it just was not packed out. Like there's not a lot of fans there, which I get it because that weather was terrible. The one thing that was kind of a shame, was that the LSU fans, I'm not going to say they took over the stadium because there was no there was no taking over the stadium, just to be honest. And but yeah, Oklahoma is a team though you got to watch out for them. But man, they had not lost back to back games like all year. It's like they'd spread them out, but they lost the 3 in a row. But now tonight they're playing Dallas Baptist and they're just getting hammered. I mean, it's nasty. Last
You
I
know what
looked,
that means, don't you?
what's that?
This weekend they're going to score a bazillion runs.
So it's funny you say that because it's supposed to be sunny and in the 70s this weekend there. It's going to be a comfortable game. So,
Okay.
yeah, which I mean, hey, that's a good thing. It's a good road test for Vanderbilt for sure.
Yeah.
I like their little ballpark too. It is pretty cool. There's a lot of potential there.
Keyword, little.
I mean, there's just not a lot of seats. I mean, but they're getting there.
They got a lot of work. They got a lot of work to do to catch up with the SEC in terms of facilities.
Sure. All right. So let me ask you a question real quick. So last year Indiana State, they had a really good season. But they had a little bit of an issue though. They were in this. They were seated where they should host, but yet due to the size of their stadium that only holds 2,000 fans, they didn't get a host spot.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas, on the other hand, they only have 2,500 seats. Would they be in the same boat? Should they do well to end out the year?
And who are you comparing them to?
To Indiana State, just because of the stadium size. Indiana State holds 2,000. Kansas holds 2,500.
I thought they hosted.
No, Indiana State did not host last year.
It was the year before they didn't host.
Oh, was it year before?
Yeah, the year before they didn't host, and last year I think they hosted a regional.
I think you're wrong. I say fact check me on this one. And Jody just says that LSU has tied the game with Nichols. Good.
In 2023, Indiana State did host a regional in Terre Haute. The issue last year, they had something else going on.
Okay.
They had something else using their facility.
I gotcha. Talk about poor scheduling.
Okay. Change that. Indiana State also hosted a regional in 2024, winning the Terre Haute Regional before falling in the Fort Worth Super Regional to TCU.
Okay. I gotcha.
In 23, Indiana State was scheduled to host the Super Regional against TCU, but circumstances forced them to play.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's when they had the scheduling conflict.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Well, then in that case, maybe Kansas can get to it to be a host. I would like to see. I mean, so the reason I like Kansas is
Kansas
their
is more
fans.
comparable to UConn.
Yeah, that's fantastic comparison. Inconveniently enough, they're both basketball schools. But what I like about Kansas this year is that early in the season, College Baseball Central, they jumped behind the Kansas bandwagon before it even began. And they were like, they're tweeting a lot. They were jumping on with Kansas' social media team and all that. And next thing you know, the students showed up in flocks. And they packed the house out. Wild, rowdy. They did hot dog nights where the teams, they're buying students hot dogs or whatever. And that's become a big trend this season, by the way, which shout out Coastal. Football, every student eats for free, which is amazing
I
this
think
coming season.
everybody does.
Oh, is it everybody?
The post I saw said all concessions.
I got you. LSU has taken the lead. They're up 5-3 now. Good. What's up, Dominic? How you doing, brother? So yeah, this is the RPI. I expect a little bit of motion here, especially after this weekend. You got some really big matchups that we'll be addressing later. But let me see what the. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this off real quick. Put us back in our beautiful ways. Let me see. Okay. So before I go into our league standings and all that, run me down a little bit. Who and what stood out to you the most this past weekend?
The biggest thing that stood out to me,
Mm-hmm.
Texas A&M.
Yeah. Now I want to ask you if you
Now,
recall this on the
and-
show last week, though. Do you remember what I said last week? I said, "Is Texas A&M due for that breakout this weekend?" I never predicted it would happen.
So another thing that stood out to me was Auburn handling Alabama.
Yes, I said the same thing. I was shocked.
I mean, they won 2 out of 3, and could have very well won that middle game too.
Mm-hmm.
They had the lead in that middle game.
Mm-hmm.
They could have easily won it, but the way they handled Alabama was, I knew Auburn was going to be better this year.
Sure.
But, last year was an aberration from what Coach Thompson has done down there. I knew they were going to be better. I'm still not sold on Alabama. They got up to number 8. You mentioned it last week. Is it time for Alabama to start their swan song like they always do in the SEC?
Mm-hmm.
That could have been the moment.
Very much so. But one thing you have to also consider, too, in that series is that Justin LeBron was not 100%. He played fine. Don't get me wrong. He did. But he was not his complete self either, because he did get injured the weekend before that. So, I mean, I think there is still some hope. No reason to, get scared yet. I know next weekend they have to go to Baton Rouge. That's not going to be an easy test. But the way Auburn played, though, I was very impressed. They're a young team with some good veterans on there. Don't get me wrong. But their ace is what shocks me. Sammy Dutton. The man literally had his freshman season at LSU. He had over a 7 ERA. Last year he had a mid-6 ERA, and then this year he's like under 3 and hitting the zone. Like, he just couldn't throw a lot of strikes, and it's like he would let free passes happen, and then he would start really just pinpointing strikes, and they were just hittable balls, and that was his downfall the last 2 years. Now. Mm-hmm. He's gotten it together, and he's thriving. His last few starts, he's looked really good. I mean, he's allowed a few runs here and there, but nothing that should be considered concerning. I mean, like a lot of times when a kid transfers from a school, you'll see the fan base try to trash him or whatever for it. Can't really trash him, because I think it was the smartest move for him. He went with his brother to Auburn after Birmingham Southern closed their doors. His brother was a starter at Birmingham Southern. They both go to Auburn together, back in their home state, and they're just playing ball together again, which that was something they wanted. And I'm actually happy to see Dutton thriving. I think it's fantastic. Yeah. That being said, I hope this weekend, they hammer him left and right like there ain't no tomorrow. But any other game, I hope he does well.
One other thing that stood out to me is Texas pitching. To hold that Georgia offense down the way they did, is it time to start talking about Texas?
It is, and I'll tell you why. Mr. Volantis himself. That freshman is a stud. One of the best relievers in the country, no question about it. There's some other guys you could argue that are better, but he is a stud. And James Fender says, who is the best? We are. Thank you, James. That means a lot.
Thanks, James. I appreciate that. I really do. That means something to my heart, man.
Same. It really does. Um, but yeah, I mean, you lose your best offensive player for the season, and then Will Gasparino comes in, riding a 13-game hitting streak going into this week, 7 home runs in that span, hasn't batted an eye. You got Galvan back there behind the dish, just dominating. He is dangerous all around. He's great behind the dish. He is fantastic hitting. I mean, he's a dude, to say the least. He is just straight up a dude.
So I did learn something this weekend. Did you know Florida's catcher leads the league in attempts and throwouts?
Really?
Yes.
How many bags did
No,
y'all swipe on him?
no catcher has had more attempted stolen bases on him in the SEC, and no catcher has thrown out more. Obviously, he's throwing out more because there's more attempts.
Sure.
But in game 3, I know we had 3 stolen bases in one day. And that plays right along with Coach Corbin. He said Vanderbilt's offensive philosophy right now, just get to first base.
I mean, that's a good philosophy. I mean, it
Just
really
get to
is.
first base. And if you can get to first base, it's game on, because we're going to put pressure on you. Because we're not a power hitting team.
Yeah.
We haven't been in years. So that's always been Corbin's mantra, is you manufacture runs.
Yeah. How crazy would it be if Corbin took a page out of VMI's playbook and just essentially stole a base on every pitch? Because that's
That'd
pretty
be
much what
wild.
they do. I mean,
That'd be wild.
every time you get on base, you're trying to steal it. So I love the way VMI plays. But yeah, I mean, just this past weekend was just fun baseball. It really was. I know you had an issue with Cade Anderson going a complete game at 135 pitches. I
It's
know
too
that
much.
bothered you. I know.
It's too much.
So normally I would agree with stuff like that. I would. But in this case, I understand it.
You don't let a starter go 137 the first week of April. You don't.
I
If
mean,
it was the first week of May, it'd be a different story.
sure.
Not the first week of April.
So the reason they let him go is because, obviously they do analytics and track everything, and his stuff was not going down at all. He was riding a wave, and I'm correct, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but I am 99% sure had Jay Johnson made the slow walk to the mound while he was in his heat that he was doing, that he might have dropped Johnson on that mound and told him to get back inside the dugout. Like he was just that good.
Your coach cannot be afraid of your pitcher. And
He probably
say
wasn't.
And I say that knowing that Scott Brown, Vanderbilt's pitching coach, used to be afraid of Carson Fulmer.
I mean, look at the kid when he was there. He was a psycho. I don't blame him. I would have been too. But no, it's just the other night, it was just a wave of momentum, and his stuff was just really good. And I think one of the reasons they gave him an extra leash on that is because he gets one extra day of rest. And I think that was okay, we'll let him go out there and do his thing.
You're still pushing Kevin Kopp's territory.
I don't. It takes a lot to push some Kevin Kopp's territory, to be fair.
I mean, to be fair, it does. But it's the same thing Dave Van Horn did with Kevin Kopp's, and you see where he's at now.
Yeah. I mean, I can say this, though, about Kopp's. That man had some of the best numbers I've ever seen from a reliever in my entire life.
Crazy
Absolutely
number.
absurd. We'll probably never see another reliever duplicate what he did in college.
Oh, no.
And if we do, then that man needs to be fired for letting him do it. All right, let's look at the league standings now through week 4. It's starting to play out now. Teams are starting to separate. I mean, the first column, the top 6 right there, that's a pretty close range of being a series off of each other. So they're still close with a lot of separation available. Column 2 right there, 7 through 12. Obviously, Bama and Vandy are tied. You got Auburn right behind them by a game. Then you got Kentucky and Oklahoma tied at 5 and 7. And then 12 through 16, that's the it's like there's hope for Mississippi State and A&M at this point still. Having that third win, I think, is a big difference maker. But man,
with the talent Texas A&M has got, you don't want to see them get hot.
no, not at all. Especially considering the teams they have to play coming up. Now, if A&M gets like a sweep this weekend, I still don't think that they're going to be ranked or anything like that. But if you see them get on this streak that they're capable of, they're going to be back in the top 25 soon. Because I mean, realistically, I think a team can get into the postseason with 12 wins this year, maybe 11.
Nah.
I think this would be that one year. With the RPI, and the reason I say that, with the RPI that a team like A&M would have with 11 conference wins, I think they would be fine.
Nah.
11 and 19, it would be a stretch. It would be a new thing to experience, but I don't know. Okay, so this is random, but William Schmidt just smiled on the baseball mound. Didn't know that was possible.
13 is the minimum for SEC teams.
Generally, yes.
11's not going to get it done.
I have a weird feeling this is going to be a year where a team makes it that you're like, why? I think that's the year. What's up, Terry? How you doing, man? How was Vegas? I don't know.
I mean, Texas A&M does have a gauntlet coming up.
They do. They really do.
Arkansas, Texas, LSU. Then you get a weekend off with Missouri, and then Georgia.
That sucks.
That's a gauntlet.
Terry, were you the reason that y'all lost the softball game? I hope not. And please tell me you didn't pull anything in your legs. Because I pulled some muscles while playing, and that sucks. So just by looking at these standings right here, how many teams do you see making the NCAA tournament?
Out of the SEC?
Of course.
Right now, 9.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I was going to go to 12 myself.
Nah.
I will say this. I think
maybe 10. Okay. I don't think Kentucky's getting in.
That one shocks me. Which, by the way, I would like to point out that I said on our show last week that I thought Kentucky and Ole Miss were very even teams. That Ole Miss was just a tad better, but it was going to be a very tight series. And that was probably the tightest series that you could ever ask for.
I mean, true.
Because Kentucky very much could have won that series. But, I mean, they beat themselves in that one.
I just don't think Kentucky's got a favorable path. Oklahoma, they're going to win a couple series. They may get in there. But right now, I'm on 9.
Okay. Interesting. I'm going to have to remember that because that's interesting to say the least. Okay, so I'm assuming that you have 1 through 9 is who you have making it. I'm taking it.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. I think Oklahoma gets in.
They gotta find a way to get 8 more wins.
Sure.
In the conference.
Sure.
Just like Texas A&M. If Oklahoma and Texas A&M get there to 13, they're in.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, with A&M, I mean, with that schedule to close it out, I mean, there is no, room for slipping. All right, so I'm going to I will consider Texas A&M having 6 wins right now because of the Missouri series. And so help me God, if they lose a single game of that series, they do not deserve to be in.
Fair.
And
Will Missouri be the first SEC team in history to go 0-30?
I'm starting to wonder it now because initially I was like, nah, there's gonna be one they get somewhere, but now I'm like, I felt like it was like the final nail in the coffin this past weekend with Arkansas. It's like that was a team that just gave up. Like, I mean, that's just what I saw.
It looked like they've quit.
Yeah,
Hung it up.
absolutely.
Ready to go home.
Oh my God! I swear, Nate, if y'all lose to them, I will. I may buy you flowers and a sympathy card on that one.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, Florida at 1-11 makes no dang sense to me. Like, thank you, KY Live. I appreciate that.
Okay.
I just think that I don't know, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I really maybe it's because of what I've seen the last few years, but it's like when Florida's down, I still believe that they should be good.
Terry is the reason they lost. I'll take that.
Yeah, Nate. I mean, it's an absolute shame too with the pitching. Like, I don't get it. See, okay, so Nate, so there's a big start for y'all beating FSU tonight, and that's what I was saying to a couple of my buddies today. Was I mean, realistically, Florida needs more than anything to go 4-0 this week. Get the midweek to help the RPI, which I mean, the RPI is fine, and then if they can win 3 this weekend, get to 4-11 in conference. I think that's a comfortable spot to be in considering where they're at now. And I think that Missouri is obviously a very winnable series. So, I mean,
So he's not wrong that they can't close games out. But even their starters on Friday and Saturday their starters had no control
yeah.
at all.
Yeah. See, and that. So let me ask you, why is that? Why are we seeing more and more of that in the more recent years but among teams with their starters? Like, what is up with these guys not being able to find the zone anymore? Like, it's becoming way too common now.
Because there's too much focus on velocity and spin rate and not enough focus on control.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
You look, and I'm not bragging by any sort, but just as a comparison, you look at a team like Vandy, their strike to ball ratio is immaculate. It's top 3 in the country.
Sure.
Because they're more about control. They don't have these dudes throwing 97, 98, 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Our fastest pitcher sits comfortably at 96.
Is that what,
But
McElvain?
he don't have no, McElvain. No.
What's his fastball?
About 95.
Oh, I actually thought it was higher than that.
No, it's our highest speed this year. We've got Sawyer Hawks will hit 96, 97.
Okay.
But Austin Nye, the one that starts the midweek games, is the only one that sits comfortably 97.
Okay. That's crazy. Because I remember, like, Carson Fulmer was hitting what? He's like high 90s.
97, 98.
But he was very accurate.
Sheffield was hitting. Sheffield, when he was at Vanderbilt, was hitting triple digits. He just couldn't control it.
Yeah. I remember, though, like, back in the day when, like, David Price was there. Like, why can't pitchers throw like that? Yes. Yeah. He was so dang good.
96 and put it on a point.
Yeah, like, it was just so good.
But I think that's a lot of why you see the high walk ratios now is it's all about velocity and spin rate and not about control.
Mm-hmm. It's insane to think about the pitchers that have come through Vanderbilt. Good Lord. Like, that's almost unfair.
You have a guy like Kumar Rocker. He was sitting 97, 98. But when he'd take the mound, his mentality was, I'm going to throw this past you, and you can't hit it.
Yep. I mean, because just look back on, you had what? Gray, Price, you had Pfeiffer, Fulmer, Bueller, Rocker, Leiter, who else you have? I mean, everybody. Like, good God.
But yeah. The
And
pitchers
that,
that we've had come through Vandy and make it in the major leagues, it's a pretty good list.
I mean, that surely I'm gonna have to do some research this, but I want to know if Vanderbilt has the most successful pitching in the majors of any SEC team over like the last, let's say, 15 years, 15, 20 years, something like that. Because, I mean, that's a long list of pitchers that's come through there that's gone pro.
Right?
Yeah. Man.
And so many guys that aren't starters in the major league that have come through as relievers.
Yeah.
From Vanderbilt.
What's Pfeiffer doing now?
I think he runs a construction company up around Knoxville.
That is insane to even hear that. Because that dude, he had some gas.
See, and I love the Pfeiffer story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is a guy who in college had some problems. He went to his coach. His coach said, I'll help you with your problems, but you're officially off the roster until we get it taken care of.
I respect that too, by the way.
And then when he got it taken care of, he was given the spot back.
See, and that's amazing, because I remember when you shared that story with me years ago, and I mean, it says a lot about Corbin that, you know, he would even keep a spot on his roster for him. It says a lot about Pfeiffer for having the courage to go to Corbin first about the problem, and then the fact that Corbin essentially didn't judge the kid at all helped him. We don't know exactly what he did behind closed doors, obviously, but you know he was there in a support system with him, and I'm sure other coaches were as well. Then comes back and has the career he had. I mean, it's absolutely amazing.
Yep. To miss out on winning a ring, to be one of the pitchers that started in the finals the following year.
Yep.
It's a great story.
It really is. Absolutely. All right, let's look at these are my power rankings. Chris, please feel free to share where you would change some of these. Let me defend Texas at number 1 on mine. The reason I have Texas at number 1 is because they have the sweep of Georgia and they won the series against LSU. I'm sorry, but I feel like that's the most impressive thing anyone in the country has done. And I base my power rankings not off of complete season, but off of conference only. That's the only way I can do that. So, like, for example, Auburn at number 6 right now. They took the series from Alabama. I was impressed by that. I felt like they deserve love for that. Now, I have A&M at a cool 13 still on here, and that's only because of their overall record. What they did this past weekend, realistically, if I did it a week by week of what you did just the other day for me, A&M would be number 1 probably, or number 2 right now because of what they did over the weekend. Because either a couple of things happened in this. Either A&M found their mojo or Tennessee just happened to have a bad day. But either way, I know one thing. It was enough to humble them and bring them back to reality. Because a lot of those Tennessee fans are very full of themselves this past year. They're really riding it hard. And when it doesn't work out and they don't win it the next year, that's a hard pill to swallow. When you get your first, you want to keep winning them and winning and winning. when you get that first and you don't do it the next year, it hurts. Like last season when LSU didn't win it again, that hurt. I wanted back to back. I knew we weren't going to get it, but I wanted it. I mean, oof. Now, obviously, you can't base one weekend to determine your entire outlook when you're only halfway through the season, but
I feel cheated.
you should. That's how much that's how much regard I hold in who Florida is this year. Like
I feel cheated because 2020.
You were 13-5 in that season. I'm not giving y'all anything.
Okay, let me paint a picture.
Okay.
Kumar Rocker, when he was a freshman, what did Vanderbilt do?
They did great.
Okay. The next year we had both Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker. Season gets interrupted. 2021, with Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter, where did Vanderbilt end up?
I don't even remember at this point. My brain is so fried. Finals, right?
College World Series finals.
That was the Mississippi State one?
So 2 out of 3 years that we got to see Kumar Rocker pitch at Vanderbilt, we were in the College World Series finals.
Okay.
Where is the evidence to tell me or anyone that Kumar Rocker wasn't going to make the College World Series finals in 2020? He did it both of the other years he pitched the full season there.
It's the one mystery we'll never know.
I have to believe we had a great opportunity to win the championship again in 2020.
I mean, I think that's fair.
Was our record 15-0 like Florida? No, we were 13-5, but we had played a whole lot harder schedule too.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, there's only so much stock you can take in what the records were when it closed out, because a lot of these teams, they didn't schedule tough opponents early on, and with the way the world was changing at that point, I mean, you couldn't really say much. I mean, to say Vanderbilt would have made it back to the College World Series that year, I mean, there's a very good chance it would have happened. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was a very weird year. A year we will never know the answer. And that is a shame.
Right.
Ooh, Jody coming out big swinging right here, saying Arkansas will lose series to Georgia and A&M. You forgot a team in purple, but it's all good. I won't hold that against you. Which, by the way, go ahead.
On these power rankings, yes, they're 3-9. I'm putting the Aggies at number 10, moving everybody else down a slot.
I mean, I can't even argue that. I think that's very fair. And honestly, I would have moved Tennessee down lower had Georgia pulled one game out against Texas. I mean, I wouldn't put Tennessee below Auburn, but I would have swapped 4 and 5 because I think 4 and 5, that's very close. I mean, really 3 through 5 is very close. And the reason LSU's kind of in a island of their own is because their record's better.
7, 8, and 9 are really close.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, 8 and 9 are identical.
So, with Ole Miss, here's my thing. Yes, they won a game against Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
Pat on the back for that. Vanderbilt was right there with Arkansas.
Yeah. Vanderbilt could have. They could have won 2 or 3.
Could have won 2 out of 3.
Yeah,
we were
easily.
Right there.
Yeah.
So, do I put Vanderbilt ahead of Ole Miss? I don't think so, because they did get a win. We didn't.
Sure.
But I would have no problem putting us above Alabama.
I think that's fair. I think that's very fair. Let's get into our fun discussion topic of the night, because we're kind of trending in this direction anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Breakout teams teams that are going to bounce back from where they currently sit and either keep riding the wave that they're on, or are they just going to sink? Because I already know how you feel about Kentucky. You made that one very clear. And these aren't the 5 teams for discussion. These are just 5 teams I thought about that kind of fit in this category. I mean, who do you see as being the team in the SEC that's going to break out and close strong? Is it A&M?
I don't know. That schedule's tough, man.
It is.
That schedule's tough. So, let me pull something up here real quick. I got to look at one thing before I name the team.
Okay.
Ole Miss.
Okay. What's their schedule looking like to close it out?
They have Tennessee this weekend.
Okay. Which, by the way, let me just go ahead and say that is going to be a good series.
That's going to be juicy.
Mm-hmm.
At South Carolina.
Okay, that should be 2 to 3 wins.
Vanderbilt at home.
That'll be a juicy series.
That'll be juicy. At Oklahoma.
That's
a winnable series.
That's a fun series too.
At Mississippi State.
Winnable. Sweepable.
Auburn at home. If that's not a favorable schedule for Ole Miss, I don't know.
Wait, LSU and Ole Miss don't play this year?
Nope.
How stupid is that?
I think that's really a team to keep your eye on.
All right, so Ole Miss, they sit at what, 8-4 right now in conference? Or are they 7-5? I think 8-4.
In the SEC, they're 8-4.
Okay. Realistically, in that stretch,
3 wins at South Carolina.
mm-hmm.
I'm going to say 2 out of 3 at Mississippi State.
There's 5. That put them at 13 right there.
Even if you win 1 or 2 with Vanderbilt.
6. I mean, are you thinking a 15-15 potential SEC finish right here?
And
maybe even 16-14?
I think 2 at Oklahoma. And then 2 at home against Auburn. They can be pushing 17 wins.
My God. Huh.
And I'm calling a shot.
Interesting. I mean, I like that.
I'm calling a shot. Ole Miss beats Tennessee Friday night.
That's the one that well, hold on a second, though. Is Doyle even good to go? He had that blister, so I didn't know if he was going to be good or not. That's why he got pulled the other night.
That's a good point. Even if he is pitching, Ole Miss wins that game.
I mean, I could see it. The question is this. Can Ole Miss pitching keep Andrew Fisher in the ballpark?
They know what his strengths and weaknesses are.
It's true. If there was ever a time I'd want to face one of the most dangerous hitters in the country, it'd probably be this weekend. Man. I mean, this series is very juicy. I mean, you get to play the team that took your 2 best players. I mean, my God.
Oh, and their fans are on it on social media.
Rightfully so.
somebody posted a picture of one of the Ole Miss players taking Paul Skeens deep
Mm-hmm.
and said, if you can do it to Paul Skeens, you can do it to Liam Doyle.
My man. I mean, it's not wrong by any stretch. I mean, there were a few guys that took Skeens deep when he was at LSU. I remember Ethan Petrie. Oh my gosh, that was a shot. But man, I like it.
You got TCU on here. If they pull off a series win this weekend against Kansas, that's massive.
I think TCU's in a really good spot overall because I mean they're very young. You got Noah Franco. There's another kid on their team. His name's slipping my brain right now, but he's breaking out in his freshman year. Okay. I was like, how the heck do you say that kid's name? Anyway, but I like TCU. I've always liked watching them play over the years. I know obviously a lot has changed with them with coaching changes over the years, but I don't know. Like Noah Franco is a kid that I'm buying the hype on, even though it's like not a huge hype train, but there should be. The kid's got a good bat, but I like him from the mound better. Throwing 97, 98, and it's nasty. I would like to see TCU do something. I think they very well could. I really do. Florida, we've already talked about them with their injuries. I mean, they control their destiny. It ain't looking too hot for them. I'm not sure exactly how their schedule ends, though.
So, unfortunately, you got this little SEC logo at the top, but there is one team I'm keeping my eye on.
Yeah, I meant to take that off there. It's all good.
This team is currently 12-3 in their conference.
Who dat?
Their next series, Nebraska at home for 3. They should win 2 out of 3 against that.
You talking about Penn State?
No.
Oh.
The next series at Michigan, they should win 2 out of 3 there. So now you're looking at 14-4, 16-5. Their next series, Indiana at home for 3. That's a sweep. At Washington for 3. That's another sweep. So that's 6 wins there. At 16-5, add 6 more wins to it. You're 22-5. Going into the final 2 weekends against Oregon State and Oregon.
Who?
Iowa Hawkeyes.
The question about Iowa, though, can they stay hot? They got the pitching.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like it if they do. Brad would like it if they do.
That's team people, but they moved Kate Obermiller to Saturday.
Okay.
Moved Savory to Friday. And ever since they've done that, this team has been just smoking people.
Yeah.
And like I said, you're looking at 22-5 with 2 series left. They
Definitely
should have
a tournament team.
They should probably have a commanding lead in the Big Ten at that point.
Yeah.
But can they hold that lead for the final 2 series?
It's going to be tough.
Right now, they're 2 games up. They're 12-3. UCLA's 10-2.
UCLA is a team that's been hot lately, but I have questions about them too.
The reason they're 10-2 is they had a weekend off this week from Big Ten play. Oregon's 10-5, so you got a 2-game lead, a full 2-game lead on Oregon. You got yourself in position. If they hold up, Iowa could very well be your regular season Big Ten champions.
How amazing would that be? Man, it's a team to watch. I like it. I really do.
I have no
Interesting.
faith in Florida.
Yeah. So Nate thought you were talking about Purdue. Purdue's on like what, an 8-game losing streak right now. They were actually.
Yeah.
So I will go ahead and give this spoiler. They were nominated for the JockStrap this week. They didn't. I will say they did not get any votes. They did not win the JockStrap. But that was a team that I actually was considering getting my vote this week. But it is what it is. That being said, we need to do a quick commercial break because we have not done one yet.
Okay.
Let's do this real quick, and then we'll get back to it. All right, we are back. So if you're in South Carolina, want a tattoo, go see Jimbo. So Chris, I just got to have some breaking news real quick. I meant to tell you, 34 games LSU's played this year. Derek Curiel, as a freshman, has gotten on base in all 34.
Pretty good hit streak.
Oh, it's not all hits, by the way. Just on base.
Streak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But either way, though, very, very, just cool to see. You don't see that nowadays. So very, very cool stat. It kind of gave me this kind of.
And Benny Castillo scores as well. That's
I've been wanting to throw a random video in there, snorting the baseline. That one never gets old.
Right.
All right. Let me pull that one back for a second. I tell you what, Chris, why don't you share the images of our stuff?
Man, we've got big breaking news today.
I think it's the biggest news of it all.
So if I told everybody watching tonight that we had two teams today played each other with a combined 141 straight losses, would that shock you?
I would be asking if Maryland Eastern Shore was playing, but
Actually, they weren't. So in Division I, the longest losing streak ever, I think, was 84 games.
Yeah. I think that is actually what it was.
Based on the research I did last year, that's the longest I could find.
Let me I'm gonna fact check you real quick.
So it was really hard to dig up the information, but it seems like the 84 game losing streak was snapped when the team beat Maryland Eastern Shore.
Mm-hmm.
And then Maryland Eastern Shore, I think, lost 64 straight. And this is the D1 record.
Let's see. Okay, so the Texas College Steer baseball team faced the longest losing streak in program history, recording 96 consecutive losses before ending the streak with a win in a 4-game series against University of Health and Sciences and Pharmacy. But that's not D1. Let's see. All right, I am unable to find that record right now.
Let's see. I'm looking. Trying to find it. For some reason, I think it was 84 games. Towson State, 84 games. And it was ended by beating Maryland Eastern Shore.
That is absolutely insane.
And then Maryland Eastern Shore ended their streak at 64 games by beating Towson State this year.
I mean, that's just
That said, that's all Division I.
yeah.
In all of college baseball, Yeshiva College holds the longest losing streak in history now at 100 games. And they played today. The team they were playing today had lost 42 straight games coming in. So combined, they had 99 straight, 141 consecutive games lost. If you notice, this tweet says at least one streak will be broken today. What would you say if I told you both of them streaks came to an end on the same field today?
It's amazing. Like it really is.
They literally split a doubleheader today. So Lehman College ended their losing streak at 42 straight, which put Yeshiva at 100 straight. And Yeshiva College turned around and won the second game of the doubleheader.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
How cool is that? That's major breaking news in college baseball, folks.
It really is. I mean, it's very cool. It's different.
When we say we cover college baseball coast to coast, yes, we cover it coast to coast.
Yep, absolutely. Man, that's just amazing. So I say tonight, Chris, before I was gonna say in our awards tonight, I want to do the Golden Broom first, by the way.
Dominic brings up a great point.
Yeah. I mean,
If you haven't heard what happened here, so Liberty's scheduled to play a game last weekend.
Jacksonville State.
Starting pitcher comes out, throws one pitch. Jacksonville State coach comes out, starts talking to the umpire. The umpire's looking around, pointed at the pitcher, said, "Game's over. Liberty loses. Jacksonville State wins by forfeit." They used an illegal pitcher who was not on the roster, who had started multiple games for them already this year, and for some reason was left off the roster for the Jacksonville State series. Cost them a win.
And they put it at 9-8 as the score.
Crazy.
I mean, it blew my mind. Like, I mean, if I was an umpire that day, I'd be very happy. Get paid for one pitch. Let's go.
Right.
But yeah. And then, if I'm not mistaken, I think did Liberty win out the? No, Jack. I can't remember who won the series on that one. Let's see. I wonder how that win affected their RPI. Okay, so Liberty got the win in that 9-8 game one, but then they end up losing the next 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. All right. It is time, Chris, for the Golden Broom Award winner. The award for the team that won their midweek and swept their series, voted on by the administrative team at College Baseball Smack. Presented by Chinook Seedery. Use promo code Golden Broom for 10% off your order. Best seeds ever. Which, by the way, let me just say, cinnamon toast is my new favorite.
I told you.
I'm telling you, man. It's so good. It really is so good. I was sitting there to start eating on them, and next thing you know, I realized I had a giant pile of seeds sitting on my chest while I was sitting in my chair, and I was like, oh. And that whole pack was empty fast, to say the least. Very good, though.
I told you.
I gave one to my daughter, and she was amazed at just like the flavor of it. She was like, "This tastes like my cereal." I was like, "I know, it's that good." All right. So the Golden Broom this week, there was a lot of teams in consideration because of some impressive feats. You had LSU, who swept Oklahoma by not allowing a single earned run all weekend. That was a very impressive feat to do on the road against a top 10 ball club. Great weekend. You have a team like Kansas who's on a 9-game winning streak. You have Vanderbilt who beat Western Kentucky midweek and then goes on and sweeps Florida in the swamp for the first time in ever. So
first sweep in school history at Florida.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of teams, that were in consideration that are doing some really good things. But that being said, it's time to give this person some love. Kansas Jayhawks. And this could be a little bit controversial to some because you're like, well, LSU just got a top 10 road series when I purposely did not vote for LSU because I know what this award does to teams. So, Kansas, currently on a 9-game winning streak, the Kansas Jayhawks have set themselves up as a very serious contender in the very underrated Big 12 Conference with back-to-back series sweeps over Oklahoma State and on the road at UCF. This feat cannot go unnoticed, led offensively by sophomore first baseman Brady Ballinger and the amazing student section. The Jayhawks do not look to be slowing down as they play for the chance to host their first regional in school history. What?
It's in full effect.
What? Oh, yeah.
It's in full effect.
I mean, I can genuinely say that no team has done well since winning this award. So, I'm waiting on the curse to be broken. Tennessee did okay after their first time getting it.
And at TCU this weekend, yikes.
So let me ask you, Chris, if they go and win that series against TCU, are you a believer at that point?
I mean, I'll start coming around.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that because I think you need to. Because it's going to happen.
And I'll be honest, I voted for LSU.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. That being said, let's go ahead and get this jockstrap out of the way so that we can do our pick'em for the week. I'm excited. Here we go.
Dirty JockStrap, wear it with pride. Spray the field funky, let it stank vibes ride. Play so busted, put your name on the plaque. Dirty Jock Kings, ain't no going back. Bases loaded, swung for the air, whiffing ghost. Coach lost his clipboard, y'all roasting his toast. Fans in the bleachers, heads hanging in shame. Mascot dipped early, can't bear the blame. The Dirty JockStrap, wear it with pride. Spray the field funky, let it stank vibes ride. Play so busted, put your name on the plaque.
I need to get me a subwoofer in my car and start jamming this, man. It would rattle in the trunk.
That's pretty good.
It is. I love AI music, man. You can type in whatever you want. It'll make you a song in 10 seconds. But yeah, it goes to the Florida Gators, and it's not any slight to them for losing to Vanderbilt. It's just the body of work in the SEC this year. It's just they've just not been good.
Not good at all.
Yeah, and it's a shame. It really is because they should be a lot better than they are.
And you see that and you wonder, well, is it going to get better? And then you see how Sully is handling.
Yep.
He's not taking it good at all.
He's really not. He's not himself.
He got himself tossed in the first inning on Saturday.
I think he did that trying to light a fire under him.
And then on Sunday, his pitcher balks in a run, and you just see him just in the dugout, just rocking a little bit. Next thing you know, out comes the JFC, and he's just looking like he's confused. Like, what does he have to do? He's not handling this at all.
Yeah.
Now,
it's weird.
To be fair, they've had some injuries.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're a very beat up team.
They've lost 2 position players and a pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Absolutely.
There's no team in the SEC that's had more injuries in the past 2 years than Vanderbilt. None. We had a dude after one weekend last year was our best hitter the year before. Led the team in doubles. And after the first weekend was done for the season last year.
Mm-hmm.
In Maldonado.
Yep.
Hasn't been the same since. Don't know what it's going to take to get him on track. But had a guy with a broken face that we lost for half the year last year. I get Dom Keegan with a broken hand. Dude, I mean, I get it. But you have to play through it. And Florida's not. So, like I said, no slight to Florida. They're just not playing through it. You have to play through injuries.
Yeah.
When Vanderbilt lost to High Point in the regional last year and got sent home, we weren't allowed to use the excuse that 4 of our starters were playing injured.
Sure.
It's not an excuse.
You got trolled hard.
You got to play through it. You should be able to win those games.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
by the way, I would just like to point out that the Golden Broom effect has officially took place as Kansas has officially lost 7-5 tonight. To Nebraska.
I just got done saying it's officially in full swing.
Yep. So, man, it's a shame. All right. This weekend's slate of SEC baseball. You got Tennessee at Ole Miss. Very good matchup. You have Texas at Kentucky. Interesting matchup. You have Arkansas at Georgia. Very interesting matchup. Missouri and Florida. It's not really interesting, but it's one to monitor the box score of. You have Mississippi State at Alabama. You have South Carolina at Texas A&M. You have LSU at Auburn. You have Vanderbilt at Oklahoma. The one series I really say keep an eye on, not because of the hype level behind it, but it is definitely South Carolina and Texas A&M, because this is a chance for one of those two teams to actually catapult towards the middle of the pack in the conference. And it's a big chance. I mean, South Carolina, as bad as they are, they have also been very game in all the series they played. Against Tennessee, Tennessee took them out, but they were in that every inning of that game. They played hard in that series. So we will know a lot about A&M after this weekend. We'll see if it was a fluke the other day or if, hey, maybe they're onto something here and they're getting hot. Because how insane would it be if we said next week that we are giving Texas A&M the Golden Broom? That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So of all these series on here, outside of your own team, who's your favorite series of the weekend?
I think Vols and Tennessee and Ole Miss. I think that's going to be spicy. It's going to be juicy. Ole Miss hates Tennessee anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Add to it, the transfers that Tennessee got from Ole Miss, that's going to be juicy.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think I agree with everything you said there. I'm leaning towards the Arkansas Georgia series for the juicy factor of Arkansas has been hot with their bats. Georgia had a bad week with Texas. Can Georgia bounce back at home? I mean, it's we're going to see if Arkansas can keep their bats going. I mean, there's a lot to watch there. That'll be a lot of fun baseball. All right, so Chris, do you want me to go first on my picks, or do you want to go first?
I can go first.
All right, go ahead.
Because I know that when you get to a certain one, you're going to go
Oh,
on for like 10
I'm gonna
minutes.
ramble. Actually, tonight it'll be a quick one, I promise. But go ahead.
So I'm going to go Vols. Take that series 2-1.
Okay.
Texas with the sweep at Kentucky.
Okay.
Arkansas 2 out of 3. Aggies with the sweep. Alabama 2 out of 3. Vanderbilt 2 out of 3. The Tigers 2 out of 3.
I knew you were gonna do that.
Oh wait, since they're both the Tigers, do I have to actually pick the school name?
I mean, technically no.
I think Auburn stuns LSU, wins 2 out of 3.
I welcome that projection.
Since they're playing at home, Florida wins 2 out of 3.
Okay. I like it. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you now. I'm gonna get my LSU one out of the way first. LSU sweeping Auburn. Sammy Dutton's gonna get lit up like a Christmas tree. Curiel's going off. Bear Jones going off. Captain Dick's going off. You name it, they're going off. Though, the one guy I tell you to keep an eye on offensively this weekend is going to be Tanner Reeves. I really think he has a breakout weekend this weekend. I'm just feeling it. But I expect Jake Brown to be the guy that hits the long ball for LSU this weekend. And I'm so ready. So ready. Pitching-wise, I ain't got nothing to address. We know what's out there. But the one thing to keep an eye on, they said last week that they're hoping to get Gavin Guidry to make a season debut this weekend. I'm really hoping that he's still trending on that path, or at least getting close, because he suffered a back injury early in the season, and it was before he even got to pitch. So I'm hoping that he's fully there and he's ready to go. So that would make me happy. Vanderbilt, Oklahoma. Oh, Jim says he ain't pitching. All right, yeah. So that's the one thing I've been waiting to hear. I'm very curious if it's going to happen. I keep hearing the next week. I keep hoping that it's going to happen one of these weeks. But yeah, I'm pulling for the kid. I want to see him.
Our friend Jim Cross over at In Off the Bench also laughing at me picking Auburn with the 2-1 upset.
I don't blame him. He's a smart man. He knows his ball. I'm just going to go ahead and say it now. Oklahoma, they're on a redemption tour this week. They're getting 2 out of 3 from Vandy. South Carolina, they're going to take 1. They are going to take 1. It's going to be a close series. I'll give A&M 2 out of 3. Mississippi State and Alabama is more interesting now than I would have originally said. I think Alabama is going to win the series, but I really think that Mississippi State's in this series a lot more than I think. I think Florida sweeps Missouri. I don't see that one happening for Missouri here. Even though if there is a series for it to happen, it is definitely against Florida, just to be fair. But I think Florida, they get on a good path this weekend, which I don't think it carries, but because I'm not getting my hopes up at this point. I'm starting to lose faith just talking about it. I'm gonna go ahead and talk Texas, Kentucky. I really think that Texas is they're hot right now. They really are. I mean, pitching's great. They've found replaces for Baloo. I think that it's gonna be hard to stop them. I think them going on the road is gonna be a challenge, though. I think that they win the series, but I think Kentucky at least sneaks one out of them. I think it'll be a tight series. Arkansas and Georgia, man. Arkansas is coming off of high scoring weekend. I'm not even going to say impressive weekend. It's just a high scoring weekend against Missouri to keep that losing streak active. Georgia coming off a sweep at Texas, looking for some redemption. They got the midweek win tonight. I'm going Dogs 2-1 in this one, but that's I will probably be wrong on that one. It's just that two good teams. I mean, it's hard to pick. That being said, Tennessee and Ole Miss, I'm actually curious to Jim's thoughts on that one because he's got good player connections at both schools.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he supports his players. So, like, I'm very curious of where he even leans on this one. But I think a lot depends on what's up with Doyle. I'm assuming he'll be good to go, but because I haven't heard anything since his blister situation. But after watching the A&M series, it makes me realize that Tennessee is a beatable team. I just don't know if that. I don't think either team sweeps the other. I'm gonna roll at Tennessee this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But man, my eyes are gonna be on that series. That's gonna be just fun to watch. And I really hope that Doyle's good to go. I hope that his blister wasn't that serious. It's just a precautionary thing, and he's ready to pound the zone because I want to see him go against Ole Miss. I think that'll be fun, especially at Ole Miss. My God, that crowd is gonna be fantastic. I can't even imagine what that crowd is gonna be like. My Lord.
Right.
So I was going to tell you, and I should have made a graphic for it. Last week you went 5-3, and I went 6-2 on picks. So not a bad week.
Okay.
But to be fair, you almost went 6-2. I can't remember the game or the series, but there was one that you picked, but you went back and forth on it. So, but yeah, so that's it right there. I ain't really got much else to talk about tonight because I know I got a long week ahead of me. Whew. Dreading the emails that I have to send tomorrow for work, but it's all good.
Right.
I'll do a quick score recap before we do our final thoughts. Texas State beats Baylor 6-2. Dallas Baptist beats Oklahoma 9-1 at Oklahoma. LSU beats Nichols 5-3. Texas wins in 7, 12-2 over Houston Christian. Mississippi State goes on the road, plays at UAB, and they won 8-3, which is really cool, by the way. That they came over to Birmingham to play that game. I wanted to go tonight, but we had the show, and I didn't want to miss the show tonight. I was very excited, so I decided not to. Mizzou got a win tonight, 11-8. A&M beat Sam Houston 14-1 and 7. Shout out to them for making the trip to Sam Houston. Kansas State beats Missouri State 12-2. Oral Roberts defeats Oklahoma State 10-6. TCU goes down to UT Arlington 6-4. Nebraska upsets Kansas 7-5, even if you consider that an upset. Vanderbilt 9-2 over Dayton, which is that's pretty cool because considering you have your new assistants from there, so that's a cool game to have. Louisville wins 4-3 over Kentucky in 10 innings after their pregame fight that they had. So that's a fun way to end it right there. Alabama beats Southern Miss 10-6. Florida beats Florida State 5-4, which, by the way, Chris, next week on the show, I want to talk Florida State. We need to talk about what's happening with that team because I feel like they're losing a lot more games than they should be. Mm-hmm. So I think this week that's my challenge to you, and I'm going to do it as well. Let's do a deep dive into Florida State, and let's research them and see what's going on because they've lost a lot more than they need to be losing because this team should be a lot better than they have been playing. Ole Miss 7 innings beats Memphis 10-0. Arkansas beats Arkansas State 7-3. West Virginia Penn State was canceled tonight. South Carolina beats SC Upstate 13-3 and 7. Wake 6-3 over UNC Greensboro. See if there's any other relevance. Coastal beats UNCW 8-4. North Carolina squeaks by Elon 12-10. Auburn, they started the game with 4 runs, hit a grand slam in the first inning, but then they lost their lead, but they came back and they ended up winning 9-8 over Georgia Tech, leading into the LSU series. So that's going to be a fun series now. Tennessee 10-2 over Alabama State. Actually had to play 9 innings today. Iowa 11-6 over Milwaukee. Indiana State continues the losing streak for Purdue and defeats them 9-8 in 10 innings. Georgia wins 16-2 over Presbyterian in 7 innings, and Arizona and New Mexico State are currently tied at 9 in the bottom of the 5th. Those are your score updates right there. So, Chris, what are your final thoughts this evening?
Final thoughts. Don't start a fight with the opposing team's coaches and then lose the freaking game.
That's a good point.
That's embarrassing.
It is true, especially going to extra innings, too. That makes it even worse.
Right.
I wonder if they made a TikTok of the fight.
Oh, you know somebody's got it.
I would hope so. What else you got for us, or is that it?
Roan State.
Yes.
22-20. Coach had his best record as their head coach last year, 27 wins. They're well within reach of matching that this year.
Sure.
I know there's a couple more series that are very winnable on their schedule. So it's going to be interesting if he can surpass that 27 this year. Great bunch of guys. Got to meet them all week before last. I'm looking forward to getting some of them on our show and talking to them. Hopefully our friend Jim will tune in and check them out while they're talking to us. I know some of their players are being looked at by some NAIA schools. I mean, it's not the same as D1, but there's
NAIA plays good baseball.
D1 too.
I love me some NAIA baseball. It's fun.
So, yeah, that's your weekly Roan State update.
I love it. Well, everybody, I have this to say. I need you to go follow us on all our social medias, especially our Facebook, Golden Broom Podcast. Find us on there, just like us. We literally just need a few more likes so we can go live on that page. We rebranded, had to start over, so we're not able to go live on that page right now. Just get us to 100. That's all we need. You can get you a Bryce Harper action shot poster courtesy of Vandy Chris over here. He'll even autograph it for you if you ask him nicely. Whatever you need, we got you. We will have some other giveaways coming up soon. I'm still ironing out some details on that to get that one going. But, just follow us on our social medias. We greatly appreciate it. We're not trying to sell you anything or nothing like that. We just want your support so we can grow and just continue to do what we love to do and have some fun. We ain't making no money off this. It's all a passion. Just a fun passion project for us. Will we like to make money? Absolutely. But we're just having fun, just talking ball. That's what we do. So we appreciate you guys watching tonight. Shout out to all of you, by the way, for tuning into us on YouTube last week. Since we've done our rebrand, we hit our highest views from a live video on YouTube, and that really meant a lot, actually. It shocks me, to say the least, to see the number today. So it's definitely trending in the right direction. So hope you all enjoyed tonight. We had a good amount of viewers in here, good comments tonight. Definitely appreciate it. With that being said, enjoy the games this weekend. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
On the diamond where they play, sweeping competition every day.